Hey everybody, welcome back to another Motivation Monday podcast for Monday, October 28th, 2019. Almost forgot what the date was there. Anyways, hope you all have had a great weekend as always. Thanks for tuning in on a Monday to get a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of a kick in the pants for the week. This week, I'm going to be doing a book review, as I do sometimes, and I think we're going to try to do some book reviews for the next couple of episodes. I've been reading a lot lately, jazz-related literature, and some things to get some inspiration, from the source. So this week, I'm going to bring you a great book called Jazz Anecdotes, written by Bill Crow, and it is exactly what it sounds like. It's kind of an oral history of a lot of the greatest jazz musicians who have ever lived. This book is really cool. What he did was he basically dug through the archives at Rutgers University and really pulled out a lot of very interesting quotes on different legendary jazz musicians. So what it almost reads as is a first-hand account from the jazz musicians about their fellow jazz musicians, about certain topics in their lives as jazz musicians. And it really just kind of transports you back to the era of, the legends of this music. And it gives you a feel like you're in the room with them, speaking with them, talking about music, talking about gigs, talking about life on the road, just a real immersive experience. And Bill Crow has done such a great job of just like compiling all this information into a very readable format and into these little anecdotes. So basically what it does is it goes through different musicians and kind of talks about, stories of their antics, stories of their music. And then he also does this really cool stuff where he'll bring up a topic. Like, for example, chapter 24 is all about nicknames. And it talks about, nicknames that jazz musicians give each other and sort of where they come from and some sort of inside stories about things like this. So here's a really little interesting excerpt from the book about how Duke Ellington actually became known as Duke, because that was not his given name. His given name was actually Edward Ellington. So this is a quote directly from Duke Ellington. Just before I went to high school and before my voice broke, I got my nickname, Duke. I had a chum, Edgar McContre, a rather fancy guy who liked to dress well. He was socially uphill and a pretty good, popular fellow all around, with parties and that sort of thing. I think he felt that in order for me to be eligible for his constant companionship, I should have a title, so he named me Duke. Now, that's the kind of stuff that you can only get from the source, and it's just one paragraph, but I think that's the coolest thing ever. Did you know where Duke Ellington got the name Duke from, or the fact that it wasn't his given name and that he's actually Edward Ellington? Things like this are just so interesting, and I can kind of sit and read this stuff all day. So on top of these sections that are about a specific topic, like nicknames, there's also these extended sections in the book about what I think are some of the real characters from jazz history, people that have these multiple stories and, just these great tales over and over and over again about their personalities and some of the stuff that they did. So here's a section from the Fats Waller chapter, which, if you guys don't know anything about the life of Fats Waller, it is one of the most interesting stories I've ever heard, a true character if there ever was one. So here's a little excerpt from this chapter. Fats attended a big party honoring Duke Ellington that was held in a basement club in Harlem. The jazz elite were invited, and Fats and Willie the Lion Smith were alternately giving the piano a workout. The party got so raucous that the police raided the joint. When he heard the police whistles, the Lion ran out the back door and climbed a tree, hiding in the lowest branches. As he listened for sounds of pursuit, he heard Fat's voice from a branch above him. "What's up? A bull after you, man?" Smith could not imagine how a man of Waller's girth had made it out the door and up the tree ahead of him. And there's just so many stories like this, particularly about Fats. I do love the section on Fats. It's amazing. But these stories, it just gives you a glimpse back into how crazy these people's lives were, and all the characters that are involved in this music that we love. And it's part of what makes the music so great is the cast of characters that was involved. So if you're looking for some interesting reading, I highly recommend Bill Crow's book, Jazz Anecdotes. Go and get your hands on a copy today. You definitely won't regret it. You'll be laughing, you'll be crying, you'll be doing all the things that a great story makes you do. And it's really inspiring. It just makes you want to keep playing this music, learning some of that history that comes from it. So let me know, do you already have this book? Is this one of your favorites? What are some of your favorite books? I'm looking for good book recommendations from all of you out there to let other people know about. I think that reading about jazz is such an important and integral part, learning the history to playing jazz. So hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Hopefully reading this book will give you a little bit of inspiration for the week, get you on the instrument, get you practicing, and getting some of that rich history into your brain. All right, we'll talk to you on Friday with a regular episode. Have a great week, everybody. Talk to you soon. Bye.